Many years ago, when I started my deeper end of healing journey or personal development journey, that I call it nowadays here in Thailand, I I really thought that I was super connected to myself and my body, or what's today very popularly called embodiment, that you're connected to the messages that your body gives you, not just intellectual ideas and the story and the dialogue we have to ourselves in our head, but that we actually can listen and discern what is it that the body's trying to tell us, right? A headache is not just taking a pill and then you get rid of it. It's actually telling us something. Maybe I'm dehydrated. Maybe I need to take a pause. So when I look at embodiment, I knew about it. I had studied at university. I had read all the cool books about it. But it wasn't till I met someone that was embodied that started to teach me the principles of how to live with embodiment that I realized how far off I was, that I wasn't living in it at all. And I find it fascinating because it's really not about better or worse, or you do right or you do wrong. You can just literally feel when you are in your embodiment and when you're out of it. And we will go in and out of it because of how life looks like today, the stressful modern society with, service or product based kind of demands and how everything is set up. So it's not strange that we don't always feel connected to ourselves or to others. We have computer screens and phones, and we do a lot of tasks that are maybe not so tangible always. And what I really noticed about this work for myself was how healing, transforming, development inside of myself was going a lot faster and deeper when I started to bring my body into it, when I started to become more aware of my nervous system, how fast I speak, the pauses between the words. Am I breathing? Am I super tense? Am I super excited? All of these things without judging, just starting to pay attention to it. And as I did, I noticed my voice started to change. The way I started to teach or show up in my professional life started to change personally as well. And I really have that to credit to my teachers that taught me TRE, because they are in living embodiment of this way of looking at life. And definitely the polyvagal theory, from Stephen Porges is a big part of that. And when I went to Vietnam last week, we had a gathering called TRE Asia, all the TRE trainers and providers, the people that train providers, a practitioner, and the practitioner came together and gathered from 12 different countries. That was really what I wanted to share with the group because it has done such a big impact for me. And I was really amazed to see how people were craving it, although theory is a modality where we focus on embodiment, but people were craving it even more. And I was like, wow, this is so amazing that the human body knows what he wants. No story about this is better or worse, or I'm not doing it, or like there is no drama when you come to that level of yourself. There is no ideas, there's no belief system. It's very clear communication. I like this, I want this, or this is not for me. It's very, very, very obvious. So, yeah, I was very inspired to see how that creates connection with people within themselves. And from there, they can start to connect deeper to others. And it was really fun, invigorating, and inspiring to see how sometimes I say just this little thing alone can do such a profound effect, not just on individuals, but as a whole group, as a whole community. And I think like the founder of TRE, Dr. David Berceli, he founded TRE in war-torn countries. And a lot of what he noticed was really that a lot of the conflicts come from people not being in contact with themselves and they're being overly stimulated. So they're like triggered all the time. And then he created TRE as a way to come back to the natural innate shaking mechanism that we all have that can release the stress and tension. And I learned TRE. I became a TRE certification trainer. And then I felt, I'm meant to do something different with this work. I'm not just meant to teach it the way it is. So I started talking with the founder, with a lot of other trainers. I started to innovate it. But somewhere I knew, there's something else that wants to come through. And the word internal alchemy really came to me. And internal alchemy is something that came through me as an expression of doing a lot of theory. So it has the aspect of theory, the grounding, the embodiment, working with the tremors, but it's also an accumulation of everything I learned. Breath work, working with the fascia, a lot of energy work that I do, and deeper levels of embodiment. So when I look at internal alchemy, it's really my extension, or not even mine, it's something that goes through the work I've been doing with the embodiment that wanted to come out, that wanted to be presented to people, that wanted to be explored. And I'm just a vessel for it at this point when I'm looking at it. And I think that's really what we can start to do when we go deeper into our own embodiment. We can start to connect to something deeper within ourselves and we can give it a voice, we can give it a tonality, we can use all our resources, skills, talents, and abilities in a very different way because we're connected to ourselves and to others. We become relatable. And I think at that level, once again, quoting David here, Dr. Rosselli, it's very hard to have conflicts at that level of humanness where you're literally coming from a something inside. It's like if I want to do something, it doesn't mean that you can't do what you want to do. Like there's no either or. Like we can both exist, we can both meet, we can both participate in something. It's a co-creation. And I think the more we start to go deeper into this level of embodiment, it's not just that we're going to feel better mentally and emotionally. Your nervous system gets affected, your immune system gets affected, your organs gets affected, your ability to stay healthy versus precursors to stress-related diseases from, high blood pressure, cortisol spikes, a lot of waste products not being able to clear from your body or overburden organs, all of these things. With deeper sense of embodiment comes more safety. With more safety comes improved physical, mental, emotional functions in your system. When that happens, you will feel better and you will know what it takes to continue to feel better or to feel good or to maintain your health. You don't have to outsource all your questions all the time. You can start to listen to yourself. And from there, you will have the answers you're looking for. And I think that's really the essence. So when you hear something cliche like you have all the answers in you, it's actually true, but it's a matter of connecting to ourselves to the point where we can start to hear those answers come through. And I think the work of embodiment, grounding, self-regulation, working with the nervous system is really the pinnacle of it. It's where it goes from maybe being a bit woo-woo or alternative to something very practical and tangible, still honoring, mystic spiritual traditions if you want, but it becomes relatable regardless of your belief system. Like you can do it and you can feel a result and you can do it for others and you can see a result. It's practical, tangible, repeatable, and it simply works, as I say. So that's why I love teaching it. And that's what I like about anything that I teach or practice for myself, that it's very practical, it's tangible, relatable, and that you get a result. So that's the beauty of it. And the last thing I wanted to say about it is really when you show up from that place within you, just you being that person, not an imposed person or persona or putting on a mask or trying to be something for someone else. When you are authentically that person, which you are, or when you are able to embody it and come from that person, come from that authentic expression, people are going to feel better just being with you. Like you don't have to do anything for them. You show up from a place of safety in you. They recognize that on a nervous system level. Nervous system to nervous system is always talking. There's a lot of science on that too. But they're gonna feel safer with you, just you showing up from that place. And when you do, everything's gonna change. They're gonna listen differently. They're gonna hear you differently. They're going to hear themselves when they talk to you because you are listening to what they're saying. Your body is showing safety, trust, and that there is someone there receiving it. That is teaching their body to listen to themselves, to their own words, to other people. That reduces stress itself because I feel heard, seen, safe, connected, validated, all these things we're looking for. So it is a very important piece of the work that can be intangible when you talk about it sometimes and everyone understands it, it's relatable, but I don't think we really understand the full benefit of it until we actually start to practice it. And once you start to practice it, you see how wide it can spread, how fast and how deep this work really goes. And that was really one of my key aspects. I was getting a lot of comments from that after the event in Vietnam that people said, wow, like really focusing on it and making it such a core part of teaching a class, it does such a big difference. And even though those 12 languages, it's like when I teach a class, I teach to a lot of different nationalities, different languages, usually when I teach my classes or trainings. And in the beginning of a class, it always looks like this. People are super tense and trying to figure out the words. But as they relax, it doesn't matter if they speak English or Swedish or Spanish or whatever language I'm teaching in. They actually understand me. They listen less to the translators and they can understand because body to body is now receiving the message because I'm calm, I'm in myself. And that's really cool because you can see it literally in someone's eye when you're teaching it. So that's really the core of internal alchemy and theory. And that's really why I like to teach it because it's done such a profound change in my life. And I can still see it with people that are aware of it, like I was, how it still makes such a big effect. Even when you're aware of it and you practice it, but just a few tweaks or just a few different ways of applying it and how deep it goes for yourself. So if you want to know more about that, you can check out our programs. For sure, we have classes, workshops. Easiest, you can find me on Instagram, Internal Alchemy with Simba. You can also write me at simba@livingwiththespirit.com, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. And you can also set up a consultation if you want to know, is this for me? Is this something that I am might be benefiting from, right? We don't always have to do a training because we professionally want to do something with it. It might just be for yourself, that you do a training for yourself, and then whatever you do in life just becomes enhanced because you have the skills, the knowledge within you. So there's many different ways to do this work. There's many different ways that you can explore it, and I'm here. I'll be more than happy to answer any question you might have.